Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Samasta जनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. नमः श्री शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलास महामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे. Hari Om. In this vision of Vedanta, we saw last week from this work Tatwa Vivekah. It is the first chapter of Panchadashi, written by Swami Vidyaranya. Tatwa Vivekah talks about the distinguishing between the elements, the 5 parts of our being, 5 layers of our being, which covers the self, the 5 koshas. And how do I know the self? The verse 32 we saw last week, which says, Satkarma paripakate karunanidina udhritaha prapya tirtaruchayam vishramyanti yatha sukham upadesham avapya evam acharyat tatvadarshinaha. When we get the upadesha, or when we get the knowledge from an acharya, from a teacher who is tatvadarshinaha, who has an understanding of the tattva or the essence of one's own self, panchakosha vivekena labhante nirvritim param. With the viveka, or distinguishing between the 5 koshas, we are going to see what they are in the next few verses. The annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya and anandamaya koshas. When we distinguish between them, and when we isolate them in our understanding from the self, then we get that nivritim param is all our sorrows go away, and we attain supreme peace. What is peace? Peace is absence of sorrow, that state of mind where it is always calm, where it is always blissful. Whatever happens in the surroundings, the mind does not lose its state of peace. The mind does not lose its state of bliss or being happy, which means any incident that happens, we always have the right interpretation to that incident so that we understand it in the right context, and we don't lose our cool, we don't lose our peace. We are able to respond in the right manner and do the right action and keep moving on in life, despite all kinds of people, objects and situations that may come around us. Sri Vidyaranya Swami mentions in the 33rd verse. From the 33rd verse onwards, the text talks about the 5 koshas, the different aspects of the personality, and the 5 koshas, or the 5 sheets. It is not SHEET, it is SHEATH, sheets. 5 layers of our personality that covers the self or I. That is consciousness. Annam prano mano buddhihi anandascheti panchate koshastairavrita swatma vismritya samsmritim vrajet. Samsritim vrajet. Annam pranaha manaha buddhihi anandaha chaiti. Annam means the food, body. These are all the different koshas. They are called annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya kosha. Annam, prana, mano, buddhihi, ananda. There are 5 koshas. Panchate, koshaha, taihi, avrataha, swatma. Swatma is my own self, is covered by these 5 koshas. Vismritya, samsrutim vrajet. If I forget this self that is covered by these 5 koshas, vismriti means forgetfulness of the true self, which is covered by these 5 layers or 5 sheets. I attain to samsriti. Samsriti means samsara, constant movement and change. Samsritim vrajet. So going back to these through this verse, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. Panchate 5. Koshaha. Koshas means layers or pockets or sheets. It is a layer means it's not like a fluid pastry layer which is just longitudinal. This is a whole layer of tissues connected everywhere and fixed completely. There is no open loop here. Everything is connected and closed. The Annamaya kosha. Then you have the Pranamaya kosha, is the vital air, the prana or the apana, the different, we will see the differences. This is also very well integrated and well connected and a little more expansive than the Annamaya kosha or the physical body. Expansive means prana usually reaches to around 1 feet outside our body. That is why even when somebody comes too close to us, we get a little bit agitated and we get pushed back. We push back because it is hitting the pranamaya kosha. Our pranamaya kosha is a little farther away from the physical body. Then you have the manomaya kosha or the mind layer. That is also a complete layer of feelings and thoughts which extends a little more than the pranamaya kosha. We can feel in a little more space than just our physical body. Vijnanamaya kosha is the buddhi, the intellect. The intellect is a steady aspect of the mind. It stretches more than the mind. It has got more penetrative capacity. Anandamaya kosha is a feeling of bliss which happens in the mind, but the experience is happening in the Anandamaya kosha. So these are all the 5 layers that cover our true nature of the self. The self or truth, Puja Guruji here says, the self or truth is not covered by the sheets, but our vision of it is covered. My clear perception of the self is covered by these 5 layers. The self is not covered, but my perception is covered. Like, for example, the cloud cannot cover the sun, but when I see through the cloud, I am not able to see the sun. Why a cloud? Even if I keep my thumb and try to look at this moon, the whole moon can be hidden by my thumb. It is not because the thumb is so big that it can cover the moon. The thumb is very close to the eye. In the same way, these koshas are very close to us, and it hides our vision of the truth. Another example Guruji is giving here, the child actor in the role of a monkey in a drama is unrecognizable due to the heavy makeup and the related costume. When the costume is removed and the makeup is washed off, he is seen as his original innocent self. We see so many children acting in dramas as Angada, Hanuman, the Vanaras, Sugriva, in all the stories of Ramayana. We know what Puja Guruji is talking about. Verse numbers 35 onwards. They are describing each kosha. It's a very beautiful scientific explanation. We are not talking of scientific explanation in the modern textbook sense of biology and botany, but this has got such a great beauty of helping us to understand what are the contents of this body, what are the contents of this personality. And if we have this understanding with us, take it with us wherever we go, in any situation, we will be so much aware of ourselves that whatever may happen around us, we can learn to segregate and take action accordingly. Segregate in the sense whether it is in the physical body, whether it is in the pranic body, whether it is in the mind, whether it is in the intellect, or whether it is in the bliss body. We know which part of our personality is affected by what is happening around us, and we can take appropriate action to rectify the situation. But we are studying this according to this text, not to rectify situations in the world and live a happy life. Ultimately, yes, living a happy life by moving away sorrow is the goal of Vedanta, but all this is studied to realize the self. And yes, of course, when I realize the self, what happens to me? My sorrow goes away and I experience continuous bliss. Syat panchīkrita bhūtotthaha dehastūlonna samyakaha linge tu rajasaiv pranaihi pranak karmendriyai saha syat panchīkrita bhūtotthaha. Syat Syat means existing. Panchikrita. Panchikrita is Panchikarana, or the quintuplification we saw in the Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yajna. I think in this also we have seen the subtraction of all elements, earth, water, fire, air and space, into two halves. Half a portion remain as earth, water, fire, air and space, and the remaining four, the remaining half divides itself into four to give it to each other, give each element to the other four elements other than itself. That's Panchikaranam. Because of this Panchikaranam, Bhuta Utthaha, this body, the physical body, is the result of Panchikaranam, or the mixture of five elements in this proportion. Samyakaha. Lingetu Rajasaihi Pranaihi. The Linga Sharira, or the subtle body, is composed of Rajasa, the Rajas aspect of energy, which is Prana, and along with the Prana means the vital force. Air is the Rajas outside. That same air is present in our body as Prana. Prana, along with the Karma Indriyas. Karma Indriyas are, this is the Pranamaya Kosha. The Annamaya Kosha is the physical body that we all can see. Then you have the Pranamaya Kosha, which is a combination of the vital airs, which are Rajasic in nature, which are born out of the Rajasic component of this elements, five elements, and associated with the five sense organs of action. So what are the five sense organs of action? The organ of speaking, the mouth, the hands, the legs, the organ of reproduction, and the organ of excretion. Five sense organs of action. along with prana. Prana plus 5 sense organs of action form the pranamaya kosha. Then सात्विकै धीरिन्द्रियै सात्विकैः धीरिन्द्रियै साकं विमर्शात्मा मनोमयः तैरेव साकं विज्ञानमयः धीर्निश्चयात्मिकाम्. सात्विकैः धीः indriyaiः. The sattvika, the sattva quality, that is the buddhi, and the indriyas, the 5 sense organs. Sorry, the sattvic aspect of the subtle body, the sattvic aspect of the 5 elements. Sattvic means what is calm, what is illumining, the life aspect. Sattvikaihi, dhihi, indriyaihi. The indriya is the 5 sense organs of perception. The eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the skin. Along with the sattvika aspect or the mind is called manomaya kosha. The mind plus the 5 sense organs of perception is called the manomaya kosha. What does the manomaya kosha do? Vimarshatma. It is always doubting. When we see something with our mind, through our senses, we see something, we always shrink a little bit. What is it I saw? Is it a person? It is a post? Or is it a ghost? Is it a snake? Is it a rope? Is it a garland, a dried garland? Or is it a crack on the floor? We cannot see it very clearly because it is the mind that is seeing it. What is the mind? Sattvika dhir indriya, the 5 sense organs of perception, along with the feeling of doubt, is called the mind. Taireva sakam, the same 5 sense organs of perception, meaning the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, along with the intellect. The difference between the mind and the intellect is the mind is disturbed thought, the intellect is steady thought. When I see that flag behind me, I can immediately say it is the national flag because the thought is very steady in my mind. I have the thought, I can identify the colors, I can identify the design, and I know it is our national flag. So that is the intellectual thought. Suppose there is some orange color, there is some white color, and there is patches of green, see some blue, and it is somewhat dark in the night. So you will think whether it is a flag or whether it is a shirt or whether it is just some piece of cloth that has been kept there. We won't know clearly. So that aspect of it is the mind. The clear aspect of perception is the intellect. Taireva sakam vijnanamayaha dhihi nischayatmika. It is called the nature of the buddhi, which is knowing through the 5 sense organs of perception with clarity, is called the buddhi. It is nischaya means the buddhi is that which confirms everything. All thoughts which are confirming in nature, like when you go to a hotel, whether I want to, he will give the whole list. The waiter will give chola puri, masala puri, pani puri, dahi vada, vada pav, dosa, idli, chapati, kurma, rava idli, rava dosa, so many things are there. He will give a big list. The mind will be agitating between this or that, this or that. What can I have? What did I have yesterday in that hotel? What is there in this hotel new? What is the specialty in this hotel? All these confusions the mind will have. But the intellect will say, no, I want 1 plate of parota. and Raita. The intellect will say, decide and make the order. That is the intellect. It is as simple as that. We are using it in our day-to-day life. We can learn to analyze between what is mind, what is intellect, what is prana, what is physical body. Karane sattvamananda mayo modadivrittibihi tattat koshaistu tadatmyat atma tattanmayo bhavet. Atma or I, the self, is having tadatmya. It is identified with. Tadatmya means it can be seen between husband and wife sometimes. It can be seen with friends sometimes. It can be seen with guru and disciple sometimes. When you are lovingly looking at somebody else, our features, our face, not for us, but for the others around us, sometimes physically also, this person's features would be copied by that person's face, and that person's features we would almost look alike. In love, it happens. In friendship, it happens. Among guru and disciple, when the disciple is going on looking at the guru, there is a sarupya that happens. It is called tadatmya, means it's identification. The identification that happens through love, but here the identification is a natural process of tadatmya. The tadatmya, the simple example is, you go to watch a movie, there's an intense crying scene, and if you see especially the faces of all the ladies who are watching the movie will be red, cheeks will be puffed up, and eyes will be blurred with crying. This is called tadatmyam. Even though the story is not concerning us, even though we have got nothing to do with the characters on the screen, we are completely identified with that, and so we are also experiencing that same emotion that that person is going through. Karane sattvam ananda karane sattvam anandamayo modadi vrittibihi. Karane, in the karana sharira, causal body, sattvam anandamayaha. This anandamaya or bliss body, I think it is explained, the impure sattva, the karana sattva, the impure sattva, meaning the rajas and tamas in the causal body, which is called the causal body. Rajas and tamas, the qualities of rajas and qualities of tamas are our causal body. Anandamayaha, there are three types of thoughts. These thoughts that float in the mind, they come up to this causal body. We experience it in our rajasic nature. We experience it in our tamasic nature. It is there in all human beings. Rajas means total dynamism, total activity, even greediness, possessiveness, all these qualities also rajasic. Tamasic is inertia, sloth, slumber is tamas. So in these qualities of ourselves, in our personality, we experience three movements or thought patterns. One thought pattern is priya. This vritti or thought pattern is priya. Priya means I love something and somebody whom I know talks about that object I love. For example, my favorite example is eggless chocolate cake. I love eggless chocolate cake, and somebody near me mentions, wow, eggless chocolate cake. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm going to get it. That person says near us. So even the thought of that eggless chocolate cake gives me joy because I love it and I identify with it. Now, that is a thought pattern. It is called priya. That's a thought pattern. This eggless chocolate cake, the friend knows that we love it, and so they have ordered that eggless chocolate cake and they send the message to us on our mobile phone. An eggless chocolate cake is on its way and the delivery boy is almost reaching your doorstep with that. So that eggless chocolate cake has almost come to your doorstep. And that produces a thought pattern. a feeling inside us that is called moda. Moda means an experience of joy. Now, the third, you're having your friend, you're also sitting there. So many friends of yours are there around. They've ordered an eggless chocolate cake for you, and it has come. You've brought it, you've taken it to your room, and you're opening it. You're cutting it into pieces. Maybe it's your birthday, so they've ordered it. You're cutting it into pieces. You're taking one piece of eggless chocolate cake and putting it in your mouth. You give it to everybody, you share it with everybody, and you also take a piece and put it in your mouth. You feel a kind of joy because something that you love, even while thinking about, something that you gave you so much joy, when it came close to you, now it has become one with you. It is melting in your mouth, and there is a deep experience of joy when something that you love, you're tasting it and eating it. You're experiencing it, you're enjoying it. So, that is called pramoda. These three modifications of mind, these three thought patterns are experienced in the Anandamaya Kosha or the bliss body, where the Atman, the self or I, is identified with Rajas and Tamas. It is called the Karana Sharira. So these are the three identifications that we have seen of the five koshas. We will continue with some more verses next week. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसोर्मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति शांतिः हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हर नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव हरि ओम।